Hi everyone, it's Miss Hansinger, the 8th grade teacher if you don't know who I am. I teach middle school math as well, so many of you I probably have if you are doing this and you're older. Today, if you see behind me, we are going to create a marbled garland. Um, the supplies you need are online below this. If you need them, I'm going to explain them all in a second. At any point, if you need to pause the video, then just pick it back up. At one point, you are going to need to let your marbled eggs dry because it is going to have paint and shaving cream on them. So that will take about 3 hours between them. So once it is dry, just come on back and you can finish it off. The main part that I'm going to lead you through, though, is marbling of the eggs, and then the end result behind me, which I will show you at the end again of what mine is, will be more creative and you can do what you want with it. If you would like, after this, take a picture with your finished product and let everyone see what you create so we can see how different they all are. All right, so hope you guys have fun.
Alright, so before we start, I'm just going to go over the supplies you need so that if you don't have them, you can go ahead and go grab them. You will need some sort of tray. I've covered mine in foil just so it's easier cleanup. Anything that you have that is a little bit deep that we can put shaving cream in and then mix paint in, so you'll need that. If you would like it covered, grab some foil or plastic wrap, that's a great way. I'm just using a cookie sheet. You're going to need scissors. You're going to need something to write with, pen, pencil, anything that you're going to use to trace your shapes. You're going to need paper. You can use plain paper. You could use cardstock is really good for it. I don't have any on hand, so I'm just going to use plain white paper. You can use construction paper, colored paper, anything as long as it is paper format. You will need shaving cream. If it's white shaving cream, that's the best, preferably compared to like the pink or the blue. Sometimes those will still work, but if you have white shaving cream, that's what works best. You'll need a fork or a toothpick. This is how we're going to kind of marble everything. You'll need paint. I have acrylic paint. That's what I had on hand. If you don't have paint, a great way to make paint is if you Google making paint. It's flour, water, and food coloring all mixed together. That works great as well, so don't go out and get paint if you don't have it. If you'd rather not use paint, you can always just use marker. It just won't have the marbled effect. I'm going to trace my egg shapes from a little egg I found on hand. You don't need this, but it's helpful if you want this eggs the exact same size and to look like an egg. I'm just going to eventually flip it over, trace it, and then I'm going to add some Easter eggs that I found laying around. You can add like pom-poms, you can add anything else you want between yours once we make the garland. So if you have anything like this, you want to put it to the side. We are not going to use that for a little bit. What we're going to start with is if you have something to trace an egg, or if you don't, that's okay, a pencil and paper. So make sure you have all your supplies. Alright, so to start this craft, I'm going to get some paper. A couple sheets should work. And I'm going to get something to trace with. If you don't have something to trace with, you can just make your own egg shape and a pencil. So we are going to start by tracing our paper eggs. So what I'm going to do is, it's easy to flip it over. I'm going to go ahead and trace this. It is your decision on how many you make. I would advise to make a few extra eggs in case one of your marbling eggs doesn't work. You already have some extras on hand. I'm going to start with 12 eggs. This also, the craft would go over like a mantle. It could go in a doorway. It could hang like above your bed in your bedroom, wherever you would like it. The length of it also, like how long you want it, depends on how many eggs to use. I'm going to put mine above my mantle, so I don't need it too long. It's going to go above where my fireplace is. So I'm going to start with 12 eggs. So I have 4 here. I'm going to do 3 more sheets of this. You can always come back and make more if you realize you need more once they turn out, or if you realize that one did not really work when you marbled it or the paper kind of crumbled. You can always make extra. You can make them different sizes if you would like. I'm choosing to make mine all the same size just because in between each I'm going to put a little plastic egg to kind of add some different 3-dimensional aspects to it. If at any point I'm going too fast, you may pause it. It's pre-recorded for this reason. You can go ahead and pause. It's a little blurry to see, but catch up, and then once you restart it, you can just catch on wherever we are. So at some points it's going to go pretty quick, just because I'm not going to make you sit there and watch me marble all my eggs. So at those points you can pause it. This project will take more than just one sit down, because you're going to have to let all your marbled paint eggs dry. Okay, now I have my 12 eggs. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut those out. So this is a time where I'm not going to make you sit and watch me cut them all out. So go ahead and cut all yours out, pause this, and then once you are done cutting out, you can come back and we'll pick up the next spot. Alright, so now that we have all of your eggs cut, so if you didn't have them cut, go ahead and make sure you pause this video so that you can get them all cut and then you don't fall behind. You're going to actually put these to the side for a little bit. We're going to work on the marbling next, so we don't want to ruin these or anything. So I put them in a pile, move them off to the side. Before we start, make sure that when you get your tray ready, mine might have a little glare in it because of the metal for a little bit, but hopefully it will go away once you put shaving cream on it. You do need to have somewhere, I think I forgot to mention this, in your house that you can let these dry on. Newspaper is great to let things dry. If you don't have newspaper, you can grab like any extra sheets of paper. You can just place them on just so that they don't ruin anything else, since it is paint. You're going to have them somewhere, a place set somewhere so that you can leave them to dry. It's going to take a little bit to dry. So we are going to create the marble, dip your eggs into the marbling effect, and then let them dry, and then later you can continue this video once they're all dry and we can kind of string them together. But this is the main part, and hopefully it's the fun part for a lot of you guys. So you're going to take your tray, make sure it is covered with something. If it's not, it will still work. Just make sure it's clean. It doesn't have to be too deep. Mine is not very deep at all, just a little bit here. You're going to take your shaving cream and you are going to fill the entire tray with shaving cream pretty lightly. If you need to, you can take your fork and kind of smooth it out. But as it goes, I would just take a and then you'll put it to the side. I'm going to smooth it out so it is all equal and you have no spots that don't have any shaving cream. It does not have to fill your whole tray. As you see, mine does not. If it's not white, it will still work. It's just going to give you a brighter color if it is white. So the marble color will be brighter. Before today, I have never done this before, so I'm excited to see how all your guys' turn out if you use like different paints or different supplies or different types of papers. Okay, so you have your shaving cream. Make sure that there's no holes or anything. And then if you did use a fork to kind of smooth it out, try and get the excess off, and then eventually you're going to wipe this fork because we are going to use this to marble. But before we do that, you have your shaving cream out. I want you to pick one color to start with, so don't go crazy yet. We're going to get one color and we're going to kind of see how to marble it from there. So make sure you have your shaving cream, and that will be our next, the paint will be our next product. Alright, now that we have the shaving cream, we are ready to add in our color. We're going to start with one, and then you're going to add them all over. When you do this, make sure you have something that if you get paint on it, it's not the end of the world, so don't wear your nicest shirt during this. Have stuff out so that you don't get it anywhere. This is a great time if you are doing this without your parents to get your parents around so that they can help you transfer things. When we do this, you're going to take any paint color to start. So I'm going to start with purple. Okay. You might have it in a squirt bottle. If you made your own paint, it might be in a plastic bag that you're going to squeeze. You're going to put this on this tray. Don't do too much of it because if you want to add more colors, then there'll be less room to do it. You can add it in dots. You can add it in lines. You can add it in squiggles. This is not what your final product's going to look like because we are going to marble it. This is just getting the surface covered. Be creative with it, like so how you want it. So put some purple. Put some lines. You do yours however you want. You don't have to do it just like mine. You don't have to use purple, just to make sure everyone knows. At one point, if you're doing a bunch of eggs and you notice that once we do marble it and dip our eggs, it's not turning out correct, then you can re-marble. So get another sheet of foil and you can just redo it. I will show you guys actually because I might redo a couple of mine. If not, I will show you anyways how to do that, and then you'll have a second chance. There's really no wrong way to do this. So I have a bunch of purple in there. Then I'm going to pick another color before I do anything to it. So let's say I want to add some blue to mine. Take your blue, same thing, dots, lines, squiggles, however you want. If you have the paint in like the squeeze bottle, that's probably best because it's probably a little bit more liquidy than this acrylic paint is. Most of mine is at school, so I don't have it. All at home, which is what I had. You don't have to do more than one color too. So if you're just doing one color, that's completely fine. Then you would just wait until we get to the end, and then you'll go on to the next step. I think I'm gonna do 5 or 4 colors with this. So I'm gonna add some yellow. If you're doing yellow or a light color, I would add a little bit more to spots, just because when you add it with the other ones, it might not show up as well. If you are doing this with other siblings and you're creating the same banner, you can do yourself do one try and then let your sibling do the next if that's how you want to do it, or you guys can do it together. That's perfectly fine. It's a very versatile craft. Okay, so we have our yellow down, and then maybe I'll add some red to get a little bit brighter color. So I'll do red on this one. So. I'm trying to not overlap them. You can put them on top of each other, that works too. Some spots are thicker than others. Remember, anytime if I'm going too fast for you, go ahead and pause the video, get your stuff done, and then you can come back. Okay, so those are all the colors I'm going to use before we marble. Once you marble, you can add more too. So if you're realizing you don't have enough paint, you can easily go back and add more. When you marble, so if you don't have all your paint done, go ahead and pause this, get all your paint on your tray. You're either going to use a fork or a toothpick. Fork will give you more lines, toothpick you'll just have to do it more. To marble it, all you're going to do is take it and drag it through in all different directions. So if I'm going to go this way first, I'm going to take it and drag it down. Okay? You could drag it right back. But if you can see, we're getting more of the marbly effect. So you're going to go ahead in any direction you want and go ahead and marble your paint. If you're realizing you need more paint in sections, you may go ahead and do that. You can go in different directions. So I've only gone one way. I'm going to go pull it the other way. The more you pull, the more it starts to bleed together. If at any point you notice that your fork or toothpick is covered, like mine is pretty much covered, I'm going to take a paper towel and just clean it off. So just wipe it. That way you can use the same one again. And go ahead and add some more to it. So go ahead and get creative with it, guys. Any direction you see, get it all in there. If you want, you can then, once you see like, oh, maybe I don't like those colors, you can go and add a different color. So maybe I want to add green, I could do that. The more you mix though, the more it's going to look like brown, which mine's starting to look like. So I'm going to give it one more quick. Over here. Now, you have your marbled look. If you dip and it doesn't look how you want, you can easily put shaving cream down and redo the paint. That works as well. I'm noticing as I go, some of my paint is not really mixed. That's okay. Alright, so I'm about to the point where I am going to dip my eggs. make sure I have clean lines throughout. Through. Okay, so you're going to take your first egg when you are ready, and all you're going to do is you are going to place your first egg straight down, okay? Apply a little bit of pressure to it, not too much, don't really push, I'm just tapping lightly. Make sure the paint gets all on it. If you pull it up and realize you tapped maybe too light, or you didn't tap hard enough, your next one you'll know. This is where your fingers are going to get paint on them here. So once you do it, if you need to wipe them each time, or if you just keep going, that works too. Before I pick up, I'm going to have my other ones ready so that it's easy to grab. Get up. And I will have a marbled egg. Now from here you're going to put this somewhere where it can dry. I have paper right next to mine. I'm going to put it all in there, and then I'm going to transfer it to a room where my animals will not get into it as they're trying to right now. But you're going to keep doing this process for all of them. Okay? You do not have to remarble each time. As you can see, if you look closely with mine, you can see that where I did marble, the lines are a little different. I can always go back and drag my fork again if you would like. I'm going to go ahead and place some more on. I'm just placing them right now. Nothing special to it. I haven't pushed down or anything. You're going to realize that they might all look a little different. That is okay. Now I have some more down. I'm going to push gently. Remember, not too hard. If you push really, really hard, you're going to get a lot of paint on it. It's going to take a long time to dry. Paint on my hand. If it's on the back of it, it's okay. They recommend cardstock for this just because it's thicker paper, and when it dries this might become flimsy. Make sure when you're drying it on a flat surface. That's why I'm not pushing down too hard so I don't get too much. Now I'm going to pick them up. Okay. Yours might not be in full lines. Hopefully it's a design you like. You could put them, I'm going to notice that this is going to be in a different direction because I laid it in a different direction, my lines. And your end goal is to get however many you want full of paint. So if you don't want to hear me talk for the next few, you are more than welcome to go ahead and pause it and then fast forward through it. I'm just going to keep it on as I do mine since my fingers are full of paint. Okay, so this one you can see it has a little bit of a glob in it. That's okay. If you don't like it at the end, that's one you could get rid of. Mine now has all been, the lines have been used up. You don't have to, but if you want them to be similar, you can go ahead and just remake your lines. So just drag it through again. If at this point you want to redo your shaving cream, that's fine. I would get as much as you can out of them since they still look okay. Okay, I've redrawn my lines. You don't have to. I'm going to put some more on. Hopefully you're having fun doing this. Something different. You can use it to decorate for Easter since you're probably going to be at your house for Easter. You can show it to everyone. Something you can keep too. You can do it for different holidays as well. It's a nice way to use different techniques. Before you get it, I would always go around the edges too. I'm noticing some of my edges don't really have them on all of these. That's okay. Make sure that I have room for them so when I pick them up. The next one. If you don't like the thickness, you can wipe it and the shaving cream will come off. Otherwise, if you do like, if I look sideways, I can see that there's some thickness to it. You can easily get a paper towel and wipe it real quick. It will smear the lines a little bit, but it will dry faster. Okay. And then you can keep going with as many as you want. You'll notice that some of your first ones are probably a little bit better. That's just how it normally goes. I'm going to drag through one more time because I do have my last 4 left. The more you drag, the more they blend, but you will still notice some pops of color. If at any point you want to add more paint, I will show you guys for this one on adding it. I'm going to add some more yellow since the yellow kind of got hidden. You just put more globs in. You will notice that when you drag it, the yellow will be one of the more prominent ones. You don't have to do this. This is only if you choose to. Okay. And then I'm going to dip my last, looks like I only have 2 left, so that'll be perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and dip my last 2 eggs after I drag the yellow. If you like to keep the dots, you don't have to drag it. Okay, and then I'm going to dip my last 2. If at any point you don't like some of yours and you want to re-add one, go ahead and cut another one. That works. Cutting another egg, adding more in. If you think that you would want to make like a double banner, you can do as many as you would like. I have just picked 12 for mine. Alright, and then I'm going to pick these 2 up. I'm going to press 2 right on these ones. So these ones are not as streaky, they're more marbly actually. So however yours turned out, I think I pressed these ones a little bit harder. That will work. Just get creative with it, have fun with it. At this point you are done with your tray unless you're redoing them. So if you have all your eggs, you're done with your tray. From here, you guys, it's a great idea to either pause this video or come back to it in a few hours once your eggs are dry. So once your eggs are dry, make sure you come back and watch how we finish our Garland project. So I'm going to go ahead and dry mine, and I will be back in a few minutes. I'll just continue on to this video though, so that it's all in one spot. Alright, so hopefully you have all your eggs that are done and they are all ready for the next step. The next step is kind of how you want it to be. You're going to string them and find the best fit for it, how you see the best work. I have little eggs that have holes in both sides, so I can easily put string through there. What you guys are going to have to do is you are going to have to either get a hole puncher somewhere. You can have like a 30-ring hole puncher, a regular hole puncher. If you don't have a hole puncher, a great alternative is scissors, where you would bend the side, put a little slit in it. You can have a parent do this for you. You are going to need 2 holes on each side. So I'm going to show you my first one. I'm going to put 1 hole in. Then you're going to go straight across, and you're going to add your next hole. Doing this is going to allow the string to go through it, and then it will lay flat once you do it. So go ahead and make sure that your eggs now have holes in it, you have string nearby, and whatever else you want to add to your garland. If you only want to put your eggs, that is perfectly fine as well. You'll just skip the steps where I'm adding other things in. Alright, so hopefully now you have all of your eggs with 2 holes in it. You are going to have to find the end of your string. I'm using yarn. Yarn works fine if you don't have string. String is probably the best option just because yarn gets tangly and knotty, and string can make it look nice. I just didn't have any on hand, so I'm going to use yarn. At the end of your yarn, you want to make sure that, or your string, you want to make sure you have somewhere where you can loop it. So I've added a loophole in here. You can have your parents add one for you, or you can just tie a knot there and it will add one for you. It's kind of hard to see here, I'm sorry. Like that. So just a loophole in it. What you're going to do first is you are going to string your first egg. So I'm going to go through one side and then out the other. If you have string, you won't need a needle because it's thick enough without one. And you're going to drag it all the way through.
So once you get close to the end, and pretty much at the end of mine over here, I'm going to then flip it over, and where you see the line so that your egg stays, it is going to be helpful if you put a little piece of tape right on top of it. Okay, this is going to make sure that this string does not move from where your egg is. Okay, move a little. Then I'm going to alternate do eggs, and then I'm going to do these plastic eggs. You don't have to if you just want to use the regular eggs. You're just going to string them all through. Whatever way you have. If you have like little pom-poms or something you want to use, you may use that too. Just keep pulling it through. I'm going to alternate mine so every other is going to get either an egg or a plastic egg. So paper egg or a plastic egg, you'll go through with your next one. In, out, and string it through, all the way through. So go ahead and have fun with this, get creative, and then after this you will be done and I will show you your end result. Alright, so hopefully this is your final project or something like it. And you are able to, I just put thumbtacks on my mantle. You could put command strips, you could tie it to anything, you could tape it up even. Mine was just a little heavier with the eggs. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed making this craft. And there'll be a new one for you guys tomorrow. Have a good day.